jail's not that bad. It's
All views expressed by the hosts and guests in this podcast are solely their opinions and do not reflect the opinions of their respective employers. Guests and hosts may maintain positions in the assets discussed in this podcast. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and nothing in the podcast is intended to be financial, legal, or even life advice. All right, guys, welcome back to More Than Speculation, the crypto podcast where we talk with builders and operators in the space. In today's episode, we have two special guests from Usual Money. Now, before we get started, as usual, we'll start with 5 rapid-fire questions. I will pass it on to you, Lambro.
Sorry. 1 second. Yeah, we're gonna cut this out. My bad. All right.
No worries.
No, I realized I had the wrong. I had the wrong. No, if I tell you that was planned to smoothen you up, I hope that works. All right. Let's get in. Which one is harder to get popular in, French politics or crypto Twitter?
Whoa, tough one.
Politics. Really.
Okay, were any of you a UST enjoyer?
What? No. I was totally against UST at the beginning, to be honest.
I think I had some money on UST. Not a lot, but I had some money.
Okay, I like how honest you are. All right, I'm loving how this is going. What are your unconventional views on crypto lately?
We think that tokenomics should be at core of every crypto project.
Loving this. What's your favorite protocol other than Usual at the moment?
Tough one.
It's a good one. I think there's a lot of interesting protocol. I guess Monad is something that could be interesting in the future, but we don't have all yet. And on something that is more related to smart contract and permissionless infrastructure, I like the Pawn protocol, very little protocol, PWD, that allow to make lending borrowing in a very permissionless way. That is interesting, I think.
On my side, very quickly, I think I will choose M0. I really think that they have a quite good infrastructure and they're totally aligned with our ethos. So, great partner.
Interesting choice.
Interesting. I like how you're shilling your competitor-ish on the court. All right, I'm really loving this pod today. Okay, community
really
tech. Okay, community tech or speculation is more important.
For what?
Yeah.
Open question. Just choose one.
I guess. I guess community is one of the core if you want to be here for a long time, I guess, because you have even like I remember protocol of like 2014 that still exist in the form of their community but doesn't exist in their form of product and tech, like people continue to see each other of like random altcoins, but the altcoin doesn't exist anymore. So community is more, I guess, is more powerful than the tech itself in certain way.
Yeah, community, 100%. Yeah.
This is awesome. So I think we should just bust right into it. I think let's to start, I wanted to ask a question to you, Pierre. So we saw that on your bio, right? You were at the French Parliament before. If you don't mind, I would just like to learn a bit more about your sort of like story from that into crypto, because I think you have one of the more interesting background. Any journey that you can share so far?
Yeah, maybe a little bit different. I don't know if it's interesting, but I have a background that is a little bit different. Yeah, I think I discovered crypto playing poker first. So I was playing a lot of cash game, and so yeah, I was not MP at this time. I need to confess, I was just a nimble student. I discovered blockchain and Bitcoin and the first altcoin like that. After that, I had the chance to be the political advisor of one candidate for the presidential election, and this guy was Ministry of Economy. I was his political advisor, and when he have been elected, clearly I decided to run as a congressman. I had the chance also to be elected one of the youngest in Paris since a long time. And are starting to work especially on monetary policy and crypto regulation. First, because I loved crypto since a long time, so 2013, 2014, and I didn't want at this time, to let old guys to regulate crypto. So I wanted to do something that is different what we have done with internet and all those things in Europe, and try to promote innovation. And so it's at this time I met Adli. I was auditing a lot of people, and Adli was one of them, because Adli was a lot of engaged in the crypto sphere. And yeah, so at this time, I was in between. I was called Crypto MP, so I was the MP that were dedicated to crypto. And yeah, I tried to my best to convince also my colleague, and try to make education about crypto, because it's quite an important point. Nobody understands really what is crypto, and sometimes policymakers just focus on speculation or bad things, but really defending crypto and explaining what's the purpose of crypto and what is also the vision around crypto is something that take me a lot of time during my mandate.
Got it. Appreciate that background story. So I think I want to direct the next question and to educate our readers to you, Adli. What is usual and how does it work?
Nice question. So the simple line is to rebuild Tether on chain, I would say. That's the simple way of explaining it, and it's done. But we can say it more extensively, and usual is mainly trying to rebuild a stablecoin infrastructure, I would say, with three main components. The collateral. So currently we have USYC from Hashnode, but we'll have many others like Beedle, etc. The collateral is cash equivalent. It's the same collateral that Tether can have in the balance sheet, or Circle can have in the balance sheet, or even bank can have in balance sheet, I would say. People can deposit this collateral, get USD0. USD0 is a stablecoin, vanilla stablecoin like Tether and Circle, no yield bearing, nothing, just better transparency and collateral, because there is no cash exposure like Circle, for example, and there is better transparency than Tether because the collateral is on-chain. All the revenue from this collateral goes to the DAO of the treasury, and the USD0 is mean of payment and trading counterpart, and you can stake this USD0 into a USD0++, that is a transferable asset also. And when you're in your USD0++, you will earn governance token, and governance token will be issued and created only when there is USD0++, because when people stake in USD0++, they guarantee future revenue for the DAO. So we have a token emission that is only based on future revenue, and that is not that doesn't allow mercenary capital, we can say, in certain way. And that's the main goal of usual, to have something that is composable in DeFi, that bring ownership to everyone, that could beat the risk-free yield kind of constantly because of the value of the token compared to just giving back the yield, and so to, I would say, withdraw all the proceeds from the DAO. The goal here is to accumulate all the proceeds from the DAO to have a very strong, powerful effect with the collective asset of everybody, because people use stablecoin anyway. So if we achieve to have the usage of a stablecoin, it means that you have a big balance sheet, and so there is a lot of revenue. And if you continue compounding this revenue, you can become one of the largest financial institutions in the world. And that's the goal of what we are doing, to create this stablecoin USD0 first, and after to create also others vertical of asset like Euro, but also BTC0, but E0. We can do that with any productive asset. And that's what is powerful, is to collectively get back the power and get back in certain way the network equity of the money. And we don't have this network equity right now because it's private shareholders that have that. And we try with usual to give back that to everybody, to have a more neutral and more efficient system, and a more profitable system, we hope. If we are well designed the system, normally it should be more profitable for everybody, and it will not be a zero-sum game. So I know it's an overview that was simple at the beginning and start to complexify a little bit after, but that's an overview.
Can I ask you, so the vision of usual money, it's actually not just stablecoin, but for yield bearing assets for the future.
The logic was to capture, like, currently the pot and the misalignment is on the stablecoin, I would say, the biggest one, because you have 150 billion of liquidities that are really badly allocated. It will not exist in TradFi. People doesn't give for free their yield in certain way in TradFi. So what we see in crypto is not normal in terms of capital efficiency in certain way. And so that's why there is a big opportunity, and that we wanted to go on the stablecoin business, because in that specific area there is a misalignment with the ethos of crypto and the ethos of DeFi, because currently leaders are not decentralized, they are not transparent, etc., etc. Totally the opposite of the crypto. For the sex, it's already in progress of have been done with AMM, with new pair decks that come, etc. And we also see actions that try to decentralize themselves in certain way, but we don't see that in stablecoin business, and it's
Right.
like one of the biggest business of crypto. So that's why we start with that, but we was we were designing all the model having in mind that we need to have something the more standardized we can, because we think that the model is powerful not only for stablecoin but for all productive asset, creating a sort of new banking logic, I would say, that allow us to offer an alternative to what already exists in the fintech world and the crypto world, I would say.
Got it. Got it. So I think that's a very interesting way to look at this. I want to follow up by maybe framing my questions a little bit better, and maybe this is useful for our audience here to understand the overarching thesis. So, based on your explanation, I guess, how would you explain the overarching thesis, or let's say in 3 to 5 years, if when usual becomes much bigger, what would sort of be like, what's the, let's say, number one or two priority in terms of like the use case of the stablecoin itself? And let me explain a bit more what I mean by that, because we are seeing some stables who are focusing on trying to replace the collateral in the TradFi ecosystem, right? Like they want to be like the collateral at CME and they want to replace that. We have seen others that are trying to address B2B like remittance across countries, right? And we have like the super generic one like USDT and USDC. But like, I'm just curious, like in terms of like the next few years, like which area would you kind of see as the most important priority?
Okay. Can I go, Pierre, or
I can
you
take
want
it
to go?
if you want. You can complete. So really, the end goal for us is to be in between a decentralized commercial bank and a decentralized common BlackRock in certain sense. And first, we are focusing on the first product, that is a saving product. Because what's the difference between USDT and USDC? Nothing, really. They are stablecoin, and mainly a stablecoin is something that is used as a mean of payment, trading counterparty, collateral. And the only difference between stablecoin is where they are distributed. But if you take a look to the market, really nobody were able to compete against Tether and Circle. Even Maker is not for the moment a mean of payment. And I don't think that it will be a mean of payment, especially because they are crypto backed and their mechanism of CDP doesn't allow them to be a really efficient bridge between TradFi and DeFi. So what we are currently building is something that will help us, I think, to take a part of the market. And really to become systemic and having more than 3-4 billions is really mandatory if you want to focus on distribution. So we are focusing first on the yield product. That is like a flywheel. If people realize that they collectively have the incentive to align their force and transfer a part of the idle cash that are not benefiting them, USDT, USDC like, and allowing them to reallocate in usual, they will have a part of this new protocol, and so they can make profit of that. And so the idea of usual is to focus on the first product, that is, let's say, a saving product. Because in a bank, you have deposit, and a stablecoin is like a liquid deposit in certain sense. So this is really not different. When you bring deposit to a Circle and you obtain your stablecoin, it's just that a claim on Circle. And so it's like a claim on your deposit when you have something like that in a bank. So a stablecoin is a liquid deposit on a financial institution. So you can consider that the stablecoin is the deposit account. We are building first the saving account, and I will not say that governance token are a form of equity. I really think that is more than that, is ownership on the protocol. And so what we try to do is that we redistribute the ownership to the user. So at the end, the idea is focusing on the first product, and after that, distributing the stablecoin. But you cannot start having a distribution, before having a product that can sustain your growth, your profitability of the protocol, and be sure to expand. So when I say we are between decentralized commercial bank and a common BlackRock, is that, like you highlight, we will expand various products next to USD zero. So we will have maybe ETH zero, we will have maybe DeFi USD that are a basket of DeFi stablecoin, but because we really think that there is few opportunities, and we need to maybe diversify the source of revenue of the DAO and through having various products. But on the long run, the idea is that everyone will put in common their yield and obtain the ownership of the infrastructure that are collectivizing the yield. So it's not really sexy, but we are like a common bank or common BlackRock at the end, where people will put together their actual cash flow and obtain something that is more valuable through the compounding and the fact that they own the full infrastructure and the ownership on the issuer. Yeah.
And if I can add on what Pierre had said in
sure.
a very sum up way, our strategy is to first attract liquidity because of the upside, because of the new model, because of the profitability, because of the yield. So the goal is to be attractive enough to grow a lot of liquidity and a lot of TVL, because we think that it's no use to try to be a mean of payment on day one. You need before to be bigger and to have a critical size, I would say, that allow you to make your stablecoin something that is used for payment and something that is used for trading counterpart. So our first step is to have attractiveness with the yield. After to spread everywhere the stablecoin, the usage of the stablecoin as a mean of payment and trading counterparty, and after going on the more like Pierre was saying, common BlackRock opportunity in certain ways, the fact of creating a new common and big financial institution that could, in the end, and that's more on my dream, could be maybe a direct lender, for example, of states, Because if we start having a lot of T-bill in the balance sheet of the DAO, there is one day where some states could use money printing, I would say, through DAO by giving them some T-bills and getting some stable coin. That could be, something that happened to have those common institutions in the cyberspace, in the crypto world, that are big enough and independent, and that can act as a financial partner for big states or big institutions in the same way. And yeah, that will be the dream, like the old boat company in the 17th century, where you have the Dutch, for example, that had crazy wealthy infrastructure through their war boat, and I guess we try to create something that is similar, that is independent and neutral from a crypto perspective, because we don't have like one big guy that owns something, like Tether with Bitfinex, like Circle with Coinbase. You don't have really decentralized alternative, distributed alternative. You have some like Liquidity or other stuff that are really permissionless, but there is a lack of an actor that is not tied to the real world and not tied to another actor. And we try to be on that specific stack of distribution that is just above M0 in certain way, just above all tokenizer, and just under all the final usage, because we are still something that will provide in certain way an infrastructure level of commercial money, Pierre will say, or money in general.
That's a very good way to put it.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, man.
How would you look at your metrics? Like, what are your North Stars? What are the things that you would look at? So it sounded like you would want to build your yield against a benchmark of other people. Then you're probably looking at the market cap of your stablecoin, maybe trading volume, a number of integration. Like, I wonder how you judging how successful, how well you guys are doing as a stablecoin for now protocol, like a mini bank kind of thing.
Yeah, do we say the internal North Stars? Because it's simple.
Very simple. I'll let you do.
TVL by number of people that working on usual. It's very simple. But I'll let you.
There is users. There is a number of podcasts we do. No, I'm kidding, but yeah, really, I think the main metric is TVL. After that is user volume, and revenue, because at the end, all the revenue are going for the users. So it's every dollar of the revenue is put in common. So that's really important because it gives a real value to the protocol that is owned by the users.
I would like to speak more about, you mentioned TVL, which makes a lot of sense. I would want to speak more about the landscape of TVL acquisitions in this day and age, because I think DeFi has changed from 2021, in which, like everybody's just offering 1,000,000% APR and they can get people to like deposit. Now there are a lot of sophisticated actors, like prop trading firms. So if you don't mind, I would like to sort of like, what sort of like learnings and experience that you can share perhaps with the listeners when it comes down to like TVL acquisitions? What has been surprising? What has been interesting that you are able to disclose?
First, people recognize you with TVL. So it's something that is easier when you have the base layer of liquidity at start. After that, what we try to build, it's also the case with VC. It's not really political correct when you are pitching VC, but we aim to say that usual is like no VC dominance, no VC coin. Because we really think that for TVL bootstrapping or also for fundraising, there is some misalignment with community and what we call insiders, so team advisory plus investors. So we try to do something that help us to grow with at start some people that help us to put money in usual and they have an interest, but we try to cap at maximum and to let the organic growth starting. It's why I think we don't have for the moment an exponential growth, because we haven't made side deals that are sacrificing a lot of value for the community. We have rules that are quite transparent, and we try to exchange mainly with wealth community like D-Wares or other like Benmo and so on. We try really to trade this community around one key concept that is just redistribution, And with the model of tokenomics, and Adli is one of them that clearly create and invent this great model. The idea is to have something that is obtainable. We have seen in 2021, but we still see some protocols that are bootstrapping. They capture a lot of TVL, and after 6 months, because the market is a little bit mercenary and there is a lot of farmers, the TVL decrease a lot. I think it's also because many communities and users in Web3 are not totally confident on the long-term value of the token. Some of them doesn't understand really complex tokenomics, but what they feel is that the mechanism is not sustainable, and at the end, really there is no utility or real value behind the token. I will not make name and shame, but really because I think it's not cool to do that. But in a lot of crypto,
I think it's cool
there is
for
not.
the sake of the pod.
I totally get your point. But we try to be gentle. But there is a lot of tokenomics that are not well designed. And with Adli, we are totally we think that crypto has been invented to inject a lot of game theory to be sure to align the interest of all the participants in economical ecosystem. And so it's why what we try. So to come back to your initial question, we have discovered a lot of things. It was the first time for us to discuss with hedge fund. But sometimes they ask something that we say, okay, it's not possible. It's not possible with the model because if we do that, we sacrifice long-term view. We sacrifice in certain sense a community because there will be dilution for the community. So we let also the mechanism work on something that is, the main metrics is what is the TVL and how should it grow? Is it organic or is it just side deals that are not sustainable? So we start with side deals before the pre-launch, and now you can see the metrics are quite organic. It's small or big tickets that are incoming, but that are not related to side deals where we will not be transparent with the community at the end.
So
And if I can, sorry.
sorry, yeah. To do a quick summarize for some of the readers. So from my understanding, it sounded like essentially you're saying TVL is something that's required to get eyeballs' attention and valuations to get a ball rolling. However, it's another way of like building your cap table, just like fundraising strategy and distributing the tokens to the right people and balancing it out between organic growth and strategic alignment to hit certain metrics. And sounded like you're this was something that made me really bullish on you guys, just because like a lot of people just blindly BD for the highest metric and forgot about how to distribute. It's just like, I want to raise $100 million, but I don't really care what are people going to do with the tokens after. And I think TVL deals is essentially a bit like that without people realizing. You can see that with a lot of like the restaking protocols or restaking wrapper protocols where because you slowly build
His
up
Excellency.
and yeah, exactly, His Excellency. Like, I don't want to get cancelled, but like his excellencies have its power in being the king of certain pools, diluting certain points that are not liquid, making your community like you, but end up having a few cents only kind of thing. And yeah, I feel like that was a wonderful answer. Sorry.
And at the point of Pierre, and I think I really want to be clear on that, is that we have achieved this TVL and the bootstrap of the TVL thanks to people, really. Like, I think with Pierre, and Pierre will agree, that we have like 5-10 people or community of people that was convinced by the model, because that's why we pitch. That's what we pitch. We have pitched a lot to many different people during the when we were building usual, etc., and even building more primitive version, I would say, of usual. And we have also made a lot of little change with all the feedback we had through all those meetings, etc. And clearly, in our case, what allow us to have I would say this exposure and this acquisition in terms of TVL was clearly the people that was convinced and supported us. Like, we have made a lot of hope between the network, I would say the people network, thanks to people that were really convinced that what we were doing was like well designed, with alignment in mind, with profitability in mind, with the fact of achieving to have real growth and a new model, because we never have done something like, okay, no vesting for this guy because it's so important call and he will chill every day. Everybody is on the same page on most of the deals. All the supply is on the same page in terms of vesting, etc. So we really try to focus to not have misalignment always. And I think that is something that convinces people in certain way, in the honesty of the venture, I would say, that we will proposing, and on the honesty of what we are building, because we think that honest system can be even more profitable than tricky systems that may be profitable but just on the short term, but not on the long term. So that's the goal. Our goal is really to achieve to build something that is big and that could scale to billions, dozens of billions, hundreds of billions, etc., etc. We don't want to make a simple flip in certain way and maybe have something that not work in 3 years. And I think that's also why convince people, because there is a lot of money grab in the ecosystem. We all know that. So I think that there will be more and more split between different communities, meme coin, gambling, casino, and I would say more builders, infrastructure, long-term project, even if everybody like to trade and gamble. But I guess the community will split maybe a little bit more and more between two logic, because it's not the same logic of valuation, it's not the same logic of long-term, etc. And yeah, we rely on people.
So I think you're like, so personally, I just want to not, without shilling you guys too much, I've really enjoyed this conversation in terms of like the understanding in tokenomics, distribution of tokens, your product, your DeFi integration, and Yuko has been a wonderful BD or connector with everything. So like execution is on point. So let's talk about valuation. So I would like to ask Marco on this as well. What's your view on valuating stablecoin market, and what kind of references or points would you see that part? Because like, I'm going to start to kickstart the ball first. USDT, USDC does not have a reference. Stable coins that is either yield bearing or not yield bearing, a real world asset or not, or Ponzinomics or etc., or strategy based stable coins all have very different valuation. What do you think is the right references that people should start to compare if this is not sensitive to us?
If you don't
Pierre,
mind,
you want to go? Because for me, the answer is pretty simple. It's
Marco want to try.
Banking stock. You look at the ratio of banking stock or stuff like that, and it should go there. Pierre, I'll let you.
Go ahead, Marco. You have an idea here.
No, sorry. Like I was just gonna say, I more or less agree, and in fact, I'm stealing from our mutual friends, and I'm a fan of Luca work from M0 also. But I'm a believer that stablecoin is one of the few space that I can easily see the TAM is gonna the total supply is gonna 10x in the next 5 to 10 years, right? I am more skeptical with regards to like perp dexes and like all of that, because CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, has surpassed Binance volume, blah blah blah. We can talk about that. That's a separate podcast. But for stablecoin supply, I'm fairly confident it's still gonna like 10x from here. And I think in that future, I don't see only one player dominating 80% of the supply. Yeah. So I think it will be more like there will be like, let's say 4 or 5 top players that combined would make maybe 70% of the market share. But that in itself is going to be like already multiples of magnitudes higher than it is today. So I think that's the VC answer for you. But I do believe that that's one of the easiest sort of like, this is definitely going to be in the trillions of supply in the next decade. Yep.
100%. VC wise, I agree. Liquid trading. Short term, let's say 6 to 9 months on a non-related stablecoin protocol kind of thing. Any quick views? We can say nah, we good. Let's pass. By the way, because it's kind of sticky.
I can try and answer just like frankly speaking. So like liquid trading, I think it's hard because there isn't a lot of stablecoin tokens out there yet, right? I mean, like the tradable token itself. I mean, like full disclosure for the listeners, I work for Primitive and we are an investor in ENA, right? So like that's one of the few that I guess there's a liquid token that you can trade, but most out there don't really have any. And I think for the next 6 to 12 months, I would not say it's a sector that's necessarily going to outperform. And my reasoning is because if the easy money comes back post US election, then I think everything is going to go up. But because everything is going to go up, I don't necessarily think, let's say, like stablecoin governance tokens are going to be like a sector that outperforms. It's still going to go up. I just don't think it's going to, let's say, like go up higher than memes and majors. Right.
Agree. I mean, I think VC angle as a no-brainer. A liquid trading angle, it's very difficult because of all stablecoins is TVL related, and you cannot tell the distributions in terms of token from the TVLs and VC. But anyways, without drilling and putting everyone in such a sticky spot, let's talk about Pindo. From a marketing angle as a go-to-market strategy, I felt like that was one of your focus. And wanted to ask you on your experience as using. But first, I want to see did I observe it correctly? I feel like Pendle was one of the focus as your go-to-market strategy. And what is the process or the feeling like in using that in some sense?
The fact of using Pendle,
Yeah.
why we have trying to get Pendle on board and to be listed in Pendle.
Yeah, or maybe your overall go-to-market strategy in terms of like retail side of things.
No, Pierre, you want to go? Or-
I can complete it.
Okay. So no, I would say simply that our goal as a stablecoin. So as we say, the go-to-market strategy is more yield focus at the beginning than mean of payment focus, and more collateral focus than trading counterpart. So because it's hard to compete with the network effect for the mean of payment usage and that kind of stuff. So what we have done is to be integrated in most of the I would say yield component area, like all the lending borrowings that allow you to make loops and leverage, Pendle, Spectra, all the split asset, yield split platform, because it allows people to optimize their yield or to play with a different structure product, I would say. To be also listed on DEXs with a pretty deep liquidity. Will be also listed on some paired DEX very soon, also as a collateral. We'll start also the multi-chain environment pretty soon. So the logic is to, I would say, as a stablecoin, your goal should be to be everywhere, agnostically, and in a neutral way, because what you are is really a tool of between two people. You should not choose in certain way where you put your stablecoin, but rather try to be everywhere. After we prioritize with the possibilities, because some governance are more long, more difficult than others. Some are more easy to be listed, some are totally permissionless, so very easy to be listed. And so we have tried to find the best path with the network we had, the TVL we had, the requirement we were checking in different platforms, and to just integrate many of them that could have a positive impact on the TVL, but also to start to spread and gaining exposure through the DeFi public, I would say. Pierre, if you want to add something, but I guess it's pretty straight to the point to try to be everywhere and to not have exclusivity stuff, because the goal of our stablecoin is to stay neutral and agnostic.
Yeah, neutrality for DeFi is very, very key. It was something that, but it was some people criticize Maker for not being too much neutral because of the fact of having too much USDT and USDC. When we start building usual, really want to offer to DeFi a neutral stablecoin issuer that is backed by dollars in certain sense, because we really think that dollar is the most efficient way to back a dollar stablecoin. You have a lot of innovation on that field, but clearly having something that is backed by dollars is even more powerful and efficient. And so building that, we had some debate with Adli. Do we need to make a pre-launch phase, or do we start the initial model, directly like that? And so the initial model is what will happen at TGE, when people will receive daily holding their USD0++, like the LST. They will receive the usual token, so they will be able on the app to claim the usual token daily as a yield. And so we were thinking on how we should initiate and bootstrap the liquidity for especially the governance token and also the stablecoin. And so we were not very fan of point pre-launch phase, because sometimes it's not very transparent, you can change the rules and so on. So we try to do something that is a little bit different, using the playbook, but for initiating the liquidity and the TVL. And so there is a lot of factors that say, okay, this TVL is just speculative around the pre-launch phase and it will not stay like that. And really don't think that. We have designed something where really the game theory and the features are more long-term. So if you are playing with the protocol in the common interest of the protocol, you should have better reward on the long term than people that are selling directly or like mercenaries. So really, we initiate this sequence for having liquidity that will allow for us to start the flywheel and also to be integrated in DeFi and spreading the stablecoin plus the LST everywhere to being composable. And composability is key in DeFi, because what the purpose of crypto in general is to be liquid and to be interoperable everywhere with your assets. So that's really the first objective of this pre-launch phase. And really, Usual will enter in a new phase in November through the TGE, where clearly the full system that have been designed will be operational. We will communicate on our light paper, all the tokenomics behind, so we will be fully transparent on how we design that. And I think really people that are a little bit skeptical through the pre-launch phase will see what is the current power of the mechanism and why it's really different on the actual competitors on the market.
So since you brought up token, it's not my fault. I noticed your pool is maturing in 15 days. So what's next? When tokens?
It's planned for mid-November on that. So really, like the beginning, since the beginning, we have said that the pre-launch phase will be a 4-month period. We don't want to play with people making new campaign of points and so on to keep people sticky in the model. We have invented a model where we think that is working, and so we are really confident to just release a full model without any points in November. So that will be the end of the pre-launch phase, and the switch with the normal behavior and mechanism for Usual. And so very important sequence in November with the TGE of the governance token. And so currently we are working on listing, we are working on market making to be sure to be very efficient on the liquidity aspect. And so that's really a huge part of this end of the year, where we will implement all the features related to the governance token, and there is many utility. We will make the announcement, I think, in the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
So a lot of communities, so I run a little group chat and stuff, right? A lot of people always say like, I'm late to farming it, I'm late to participate. What is the best strategy if someone only just learned about Usual today? What do you think is the best way to participate?
I think, you mentioned that there is a mechanism that make people that are early a little bit more profitable, but at the end, people that are discovering today Usual can catch up the bonus and so on. So really, they are not quite late. And I really think that the most powerful moment will be at TG. So at TG, everyone will see what is the power of the tokenomics design, what is the real yield. They will realize the yield. Currently, they are speculating, especially through YT and so on. And we really want to defend our YT community, because it's really an important community for us, because it is clearly the first Usual token holders in certain sense. They are buying Usual. Right. And so really, we are preparing a transition that is smooth. And I really think that if you are there for the TG, you are not too late. Not too late at all. Yeah.
No, and I would say that you are always too late and never too late, like Bitcoin, in certain way. We are trying to build a model that is continuous. So in certain way, it should be always working. So you should not be late, because whenever you enter the model, you should be able to be profitable and catch up with that. And so our logic is more, I would say, that you are always too late, or you're never too late. If there is still growth, you're never too late. It's like Bitcoin, and I'm really attached to Bitcoin value. And I think that is it's Bobili that was saying that. That was one of the biggest Chinese exchange CEO.
A blast from
you never buy enough Bitcoin. It's kind of the same, the logic is that you can always come in the Pills compile rate now, or even after TGE, and it should work well. We prefer that you come before, because the more we have people that come quickly, the more we grow quickly, and the more we can develop on other side and application. But clearly, I guess that it will be always profitable, because it's not like a lot of protocols that have really seasoned airdrop, and it's an exception in the protocol logic. In our protocol, emission are theoretically continuous and designed to be continuous in a profitable way. So it's a little bit different in certain way. And like Pierre said, I think the best way to quickly catch up is to play with YT, because YT is concentrating the token value in certain way rather than the stable value. And so if you want to have a big exposure quickly, I guess it's the best way. Yeah.
Got it. I want to ask a bit of it's not really a curveball, but I think this is a question that would be useful for a lot of people. So I'm wondering, as a stablecoin project, how do you see, or what are your thoughts about the importance of aligning with a chain or choosing a chain to be built on, right? Because essentially what I'm trying to say is that every stablecoin seems to have their preferred chains. Some large stablecoins are natively issuing on multiple chains. Some stablecoins are trying to make their own L2 and become and like own more of the vertical integration. Just wondering, what are your views about that?
Sorry, I have a little bit bug. So what are you asking is what our multi-chain strategy? Because my computer is eating a little bit. I know that Riverside always...
Oh, no, it's fine. I can repeat that. No, I was just thinking, as a stablecoin project, how do you see alignment with chains? What are your overall views with regards to like choosing a chain to work with, to potentially issue your own token, or maybe even one day launching your own chain, if that makes sense? Like, what's your overarching view towards chain as a stablecoin project?
Very clear. So on that side, we have some things that should, and it will not only be for chain, but we will have a small part of emission on the long run. It will not be implemented day one, but on the long run, that will go to all infrastructures that support us. So for example, if 70% of the supply is on Uniswap, we'll give to the Uniswap Foundation 70% of this little pocket ratio. And we'll do the same for layer also, to contribute in certain way to this open layer. And the logic, it's a logic on incentive and alignment. Like we want all hosts of usual, that apps, exchange, layers, to be rewarded for that. Because if we build an open economy, etc., and we build common, we need to have that kind of value supporting between all actors and alignment. And on the specific question of the layers, I would say that we have started on Ethereum because that's where the liquidity is. In certain way, it's like the most mythological chain, I would say, like the core of all the EVM ecosystem. So we think it was reasonable to go there. On the choice in the future, it's a pretty complicated subject, to be honest, because we try to go where people want to see us in certain way. So we discuss with a lot of different ecosystems, and we'll go in ecosystem when we have different partners in the ecosystem that will already integrate us, etc., etc. But at the end, our goal is, as I say, I'm sorry, it's boring answer, but is to be everywhere and to be available for everybody. So we in theory, we will not have to choose. If there is a solution where I can be on all chain in one click, maybe I will go on chain with one click. But from commercial perspective, we need to make more organized launch, integration, etc. But yeah, we don't have like a one specific religion on chain. And yes, on the long run, we plan to maybe having our own infrastructure. And it's not just to make a shiny new infrastructure and to also have our own dApp chain. No, it's because we think that we can incorporate in low-level protocol some UX features that could be really useful to for mean of payment usage and for that kind of usage, like really banking usage. If we want that, we need to have a better UX. So to have account abstraction very low level, that kind of stuff. we need to have high throughput, because if you want to be a payment network, you need high throughput at low cost. We want to make prioritization of the fees with maybe no fees or very, very little fees for our asset and more fees for other users on the other application or other stuff on the platform, to not be cannibalized by other usage in certain way, and keep something that is very useful. And maybe the last one will be to have some low-level connection to the TradFi, maybe to have more smooth integration in the whole TradFi world. That's really just a little drawing or what it could be, but it's something like that we are thinking about that will really bring value to user, and not just be a shiny new L2 because of a shiny new L2. If we do something, we do it because there is value behind it, and clearly there is value to have better UX. If there is a platform that suits all our needs, we'll go there. If not, we'll try to build it simply like that.
Nice. Last question, because I know that we have gone over time a little bit. But overall, very thank you for your time for explaining the long-term vision, how careful you guys decided to grow your protocol organically and distributing the tokens to the right people. Closing questions that we like to ask our guests every time. I do hope that both of you can answer this separately. What is the one thing you need to make it in crypto?
Alignment. Clearly alignment. I think alignment with the community. When you will have a full alignment in the model, and the model will be well equilibrated between all the incentive, long-term view, and also the transparency of the distribution of the wealth, of the value. Clearly, alignment should be the main focus for every builders in crypto, because crypto has no sense is not dedicated to align the interest of every participant in a new model. Yeah.
As a crypto degen translator, I'll say that it's building a cult.
Nice. And I will be close from that in certain way. For me, it's like what you ask is, what do we need or what is unique? What is unique, right? If I understand well. That's what you ask. What is unique in crypto?
I can chime in. No, what do you need to make it?
What do you need?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, I guess, like related to usual, but like, let's say if there's a more junior person comes to you, what do I need to make it in crypto?
Complicated. I would say, on that, what you have to, I would say, luck. And in life, in general, I'm pretty.
I love that.
Philosophically, I think that we don't have many impact in our life in certain way. I think that we have, and we have to enjoy our life. But at the end, what makes a difference on the top is mainly luck. It's not talent.
It's a real difference with
too
ADNI.
many talented people and too many hardworking people in certain way in the world to make difference. So what makes the difference is the luck. And so you have to grow your luck surface in certain way. So if you make many connections to many different people, if you make many movements in certain way, you increase your luck surface, because it something cool.
That's good.
And I guess that repeatedly doing stuff, make connection is what gives you value in your life, because of the luck increase you got at the same time. And in crypto it's the same. And I think it's even more important in crypto, because we have the survival bias that is very, very high in crypto, because we see a lot of people making a lot of money very quickly, etc. But in reality, we see a lot of survivals, and we don't see all the guys that are in the coffin in certain way. Because if you are here since a long time, there is less winners than losers, and we tend to forget that. So you need to be focused, determining with determination, and at the same time to try to catch the luck, I would say. And that may be the most difficult stuff in life.
Yeah, that's great. I'm a great believer of that as well. All right, guys, thank you for both of your time. I'm not going to try to say your name in English properly, because I'm very Asian that way. But yeah, thank you for your time. All right, that's a wrap.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.